PTSD is developed through a traumatic experience. Veterans who have been deployed on multiple tours, served numerous of years in combat, lost family and friends in the war, and saw numerous bodies decapitated. PTSD has negative effects on veterans. They lose interest in things they used to enjoy. They disconnect from themselves, suffer from nightmares and insomnia. Certain sounds or smells can trigger a flashback. It's like experiencing a nightmare while being awake. How did PTSD or issues affect your family?
Yeah, let me go first. So, in terms of my family dynamics at that time, when I came back, I kind of compartmentalized my family and myself because I was by myself, even though, my mother was taking care of my kids at the time until such time I could take care of them. And I didn't realize it at first. It wasn't until I was in a PhD program and I started off great, and then I found that I just couldn't complete the program. The simplest classes I had so much anxiety, I just avoided it. And I think that's a lot what happens to soldiers is that issue of avoidance. So PTSD actually exacerbates that avoidance, whether it's drinking to avoid not having nightmares at night, or it's not socially being integrated. That's another form of avoidance. So I had to recognize that, and so when I recognized it, I said it's time for me to get some help, whether it's through mental counseling, through building my life in a more positive way so I'd be here for my children and I'd have a better life. And fortunately for me, I was able to do that.
So for me, as far as PTSD, like first maybe year and a half, I didn't feel like I had PTSD. Coming from the job I had in the military, we're told you're fine, suck it up, drive on. So for me, it's like I don't have PTSD, I'm good. But I noticed like the outbursts would come more, getting angry for like something as simple as something on the floor after I just cleaned up or something. I mean, it just got worse and worse. And so, also my wife is prior military. She has slight PTSD from being deployed. And so that also kind of triggered certain things that triggered me wouldn't necessarily trigger her, and vice versa. And then it just got to a point where it was any little thing, I would go to sleep mad, wake up mad, go to sleep irritated, wake up irritated. Anything would just set me off. And so it became to a point where I either wouldn't talk or go anywhere, or when I did go somewhere, it was always, I got to keep an eye on him to make sure that nobody sets him off, nobody does anything to where he's flipping out and he's paranoid and things like that. So it played a huge role, which it still does to this day. I still have some, issues and still have days where I just don't want to be bothered, or I just feel like, kind of had that attitude, anybody can get it type,
Because that happened to me too. Yeah. Just recently, about a month ago, I just woke up in a rage. Nobody could do anything right. I just woke up in a rage, and I didn't realize what I was doing until my daughter said, "Hey, it's not a big issue." And then it clicked. And then I was having a conversation with my wife, and then I kind of saw her face, that who did I marry? And so it just, I had to come back down on it. So I think as you go through the counseling and the mental health process, you kind of learn how to control it. The things that are going to trigger it, the things that you can do, whether it's to find a hobby. I'm doing everything now. I'm kayaking, I'm into photography, to keep my mind kind of settled so that it doesn't trigger those specific things. So I think that's part of it. It's part of addressing it. And I think that a lot of veterans out there need to just address it. And that's why we're here. We're here to help. We just tell our story. We're here to help. We're not trying to get any notoriety or anything. We're two men that met, trying to help our fellow veterans. Because I figure if you can put your life on the line for your country, the least your country can do for you is give something back to you so your life is somewhat whole. It'll never be the same, but at least it could be whole in some way.
So you said that With having PTSD, it makes you be first stage is denial.
For me, was denial. Soon as I found out that I gotta watch myself because I'm actually thinking about the day I first went to the VA. When you find out that you really have a mental illness, it messes with your conscience. It messes with your conscience to the point of where, like, man, me? Yeah, I am Mr. Tip-top shape, looking good. That means nothing after you find out, hey man, you sick. You have a mental illness. You have anxiety issues. You have insomnia issues. You know, I know we're talking about PTSD, but all these mental illnesses, all in the same realm. More so, I guess, to answer your question, it's the what you call it, the denial. Let me get it out. The denial piece that really bothers a person. I mean, when I first found out, I was like, man, nah, I still couldn't believe it. You know, I've been on the path all these years, and now I got a mental illness. And then I was actually embarrassed. So, not knowing that, you know, if it wasn't for that doctor identifying that, I wouldn't have been where I am today to even be able to talk to you. Prior to that, I wouldn't talk to nobody. So, yeah.
So being in denial, did it make you put yourself in a box? You felt isolated. You said you was alone. You didn't want to talk to anybody. So being alone made you feel comfortable. Is that because you were alone in the service?
No, I was already isolating before then. But after finding out the diagnosis, that was another reason for me to stay away again. You know, I didn't want to be around nobody outside of the military. Things I used to do prior to going to war, or combat, or in a combat environment, however we want to put it, I didn't want to do anymore. Because I was happy just operating within, you know, reach. If I can't reach for a weapon, if I can't reach for this, if I can't reach for that, then I didn't want to operate outside of that little circle. You understand what I'm saying?
So while PTSD has its effects, some soldiers don't view their experience as something traumatic. They often miss the connections they formed in the military, a bond that represents brotherhood and sisterhood. Soldiers are equipped to put the welfare of their group above their own. They would die for each other and often love their fellow soldiers more than themselves.